and welcome to Grumpy Old Crone with me, Annie. For a change, I'm not going to whinge about pagan and witchcraft related matters for 30 minutes as I normally do. As regular viewers will know, I spent last weekend at what I consider to be one of the best festivals in the UK. I mean, only my own opinion, but and I wanted to film a little review and an explanation about it, because I've been away for a little while. I left for the festival first thing on Thursday last week and didn't get back home until Monday evening this week, and I completely missed my normal window for posting a video, and I'm sorry about that, but hopefully this video will explain why. So the festival that I attended is called Fantasy Forest, and it's basically a festival for all kinds of fantasy, costuming, science fiction, reading, television, film, people who just, you know, are generally a little bit out of step with normality. So in other words, you know, I kind of fit in perfectly. Mr. Grumpy Old Crone and I attended the second ever Fantasy Forest after our friends at Blue Lady Couture. Check out Jo's costuming business. She's phenomenal. Really, really phenomenal. I'll leave a link. Blue Lady Couture. Anyway, after Jo and Scott told us about the first one, and they said that they thought that we might like it. They were not wrong. We camped that first festival, and the instant that we stepped into the festival grounds, we were completely and utterly hooked. I think the first or second group that we saw were the Academy of the Wolf, who a lot of other people refer to as the Witchers. And I started referring to this group as the Man Creche, as Mr. Grumpy Old Crone did not want to leave there. He took every class they offered, and then he just kind of like sat and chilled with them. And we did a lot of walking around that weekend, but every single walk ended up with him sat with them. Their proper name is the Academy of the Wolf, obviously. So, but he ended up sitting with the Academy and all of the members, chatting and enjoying being with people who just really love the same sort of things that both of us really do. And so over the next year, we got to be friends with a few of the group and ended up inviting several of them to our hand fasting. And one of them, Hannah from Ravenscock, even made our hand fasting cord. And then we just ended up joining the group properly, really. And at this point, I ought to explain one of the terms that I tend to throw around and why it is and both isn't appropriate in this situation, because I think that there's a high likelihood of confusion due to the nature of this channel and the word, and I'm referring to the words The Witcher, which is not a reference to witches of any kind at all. It is a Polish high fantasy series by the author, and I apologise, I do not speak Polish, so I'm probably going to butcher a beautiful language and this gentleman's name, but the Polish fantasy series by the author Andrzej Sapkowski, and in Polish it's called the Wiedźmin, I think. Maybe the closer translation would be something like Witch Man or fantasy fighter kind of thing. But the concept is of a fantasy world infested by monsters that have crossed into the protagonist's world and threaten the population. Young boys are mutated into monster-killing superheroes, and then they go out into the world to clear out the invading gribblies, exploring the people, geography, politics and legends of the world, which echoes a lot of Eastern European folklore. It's been made into a TV series starring the rather lovely and adorably geeky Henry Cavill. I think we'll stop here for a picture of Henry Cavill in a bathtub. Anyway, so Henry Cavill, and a multi-award winning computer game, well, three computer games actually, if we're being accurate, by a company called CD Projekt Red, although the third one, The Wild Hunt, is definitely the one that most people have heard of and have played. It's a big thing. And so everybody in our group loves this world, loves the world of The Witcher. But we're super careful to avoid compromising any copyrights belonging to Mr. Sapkowski. So we are the Academy of the Wolf, not witches per se, and we teach HEMA, which stands for Historical European Martial Arts Sword Work. We have qualified tutors and scholars within the group, so we don't teach the exact kind of sword work that appears within the game either. We teach potions and alchemy, and we encourage people to make cosplay potion bottles to take away with them. And as a whole, the group looks to evoke the feel of the books and the computer game rather than just slavishly copying it and breaching copyright. We always encourage people to buy and read the books, play the computer game, and support the creators who've made this thing that we really, really love. And you know, I think that's how people should look at cosplay and immersive kind of cosplay in that way. So anyway, the Academy has been taking workshops teaching proper sword work and potion making to Fantasy Forest since 2019, and we've been an active part of the group since 2022. And there have been some difficult years in there. I mean, 2022 saw the festival almost flattened by a huge storm, and 2023, last year, last year? Hang on, no, I've got this wrong. I might have got this wrong. 2023 was the storm year. 2024, last year, was me taking Mr. Grumpy Old Crone to the local A&E after a serious health scare. But this year, it's been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Rather than just skirting around the edges of the group while Mr. Grumpy Old Crone got involved, I jumped in with both feet, and I brought along my medieval cooking rig so I could act as a housekeeper by cooking and feeding all the group members between their teaching commitments. And everyone also pulled out all of the stops, and we set up an immersive camp featuring me cooking, loads of canvas tents, a sword teaching arena, a card gaming tent, and a potions laboratory, as well as loads and loads of props and secret little nods to the world of the Witcher, which only real fans would get. So I thought what I would do is a little walk round of our encampment on the Friday night as we just finished setting up. So here we go. So welcome to my tent. I'm just doing this so the public can't see me. Although I'm going to step out quickly and give you a shot of what's happening. You can probably hear shouting outside. That's all of our guys doing the combat and the potions. So let's step outside and see what's going on. So welcome to Fantasy Forest. And the festival is well underway. As you can see, loads of people coming in. We've got loads of people in costume. Just having a brilliant time. I love it. It's the evening of the first day. It's Friday evening today. And as you can see over there, the main stage, we could probably hear it as well. The main stage is kicking off big time. Amazing. We've got another festival stage over here. Oh, you can probably see in the distance. Maybe there's some lightsaber training going on over here. And here we've got Mr. Grumpy Old Crone and his friend Mads having a little bit of a battle. And coming over here, our Gwentelman, very tired. Very tired, very hot. And over here's where you register for swords, because we do HEMA tuition, so you can learn how to use a sword properly. It's not just plastic LARP stuff, it's proper sword work. And over here we've got all of the reprobates. If you look down here, you might recognise this reprobate in particular. It is Mr. Grumpy Old Crone. And coming on through, things that you don't understand at this festival that just seem to happen. There appears to be an inflatable orc alien thing happening. I've no idea why. It's just brilliant. Anyway, over here we have our encampment. The blue and white tent is ours. And over here, oh, you've got some background music as you can hear. Over here we've got the new table. This is our Witcher table made for us by my son. And that's our snacks. Going to have those in a minute. And here we go. This is how we will be living this weekend. I've been cooking over the fire. And round we go. And we come past. And here we have Zoltan the dwarf and the sorceress's tent. And their shocking washing. Look at that, honestly. A bit of Purcell could get that right out. There we go, there's the other stage kicking off over here. And this is where we do the potions lessons with Mistress Persephone. And it's honest to goodness, potions, the whole 9 yards. It's fabulous stuff. And we've got all of her pickled things. She has quite a lot of pickled things and skulls, and she's the only person I know who's ever said, I think that my brain is in a jar is going a bit squishy and needed a new one. So there we go. Absolutely amazing little display there. And we come back out. So much music going on. And over here we have a lovely display of chainmail. And this is the Gwentelman's tent, where if you played the game Witcher 3, which is what we're reenacting, you'll know that there is a card game called Gwent, and that is what the Gwentelman plays. And he will be challenging all comers tomorrow. Should be great. He does not like to lose. And well, we come and finally hear all the swords, waiting for everybody to come along and learn how to use them tomorrow. And I am going to go now and get a drink of cider. As mentioned, we've had some difficulties with the weather in the past. 2023 was a huge storm which just ripped gazebos apart, flattened tents and shelters, and threatened to uproot even the concrete bolted down marquee that most people were sheltering in. And other years have been like blisteringly hot as well. So it's really anybody's guess as to what kind of weather we're going to get. But this year was mostly perfect, with a couple of extremely exciting downpours on the Sunday, which led to havoc across the site, I'm informed. We didn't make it off of our own pitch, but you know, that storm flooded the dumplings I was making, and just to be clear, that is not a euphemism, and it almost put out my cooking fire, and this is not ideal when you're trying to feed people within a very short time frame. But I managed to feed everyone before they needed to start teaching again, so yay me, hurrah, it got done. Now, because we were on the go constantly, we were mostly very, very tired by the end of each day, but I was really thrilled to be able to summon the energy to go and see Prima Nocta, who are a super high energy German bagpipe and drum band who I had so wanted to see. Secret about me, I have such a huge weakness for German bagpipe and drum bands, mostly populated by slightly overweight aging German gentlemen. I don't know why, it's a thing, but it really is. But anyway, I wanted to go and see them, and we got to go and see them and even have a little bit of a jig around before everything closed down for the night. And we found our way to bed. We didn't see a lot else of the festival, but as I've been a visitor a few times before this, you know, it suited me perfectly. We rocked up on Thursday morning, spent a day and a half setting up our village, and left after packing down on Monday early afternoon. And during that time, I served 6 cooked meals to 13 people. I explained a lot about Eastern European folklore. I chased a group of orcs out of our encampment and then got chased myself. I think there's some brilliant pictures by our photographer, Katie Armitage of Moon Blessings Photography, who I will also leave a link to because she's amazing. She got a picture of me getting chased out with a spoon by a whole load of orcs. Very amusing. I met several cosplayers playing characters from the computer game who wanted to pose for pictures. I'll put them up. I loaned my shawl to a very cold person who got caught in the rain. I pointed a silver sword at our newest member, a bard. We found a bard. Yay! And I got smoke in my eyes about 17 million times. I also met 6 grumpy old crone followers. Hello, you lovely, lovely people. You thoroughly bewildered my fellow group members who mostly don't realise that I do this. So that was extremely funny. Thank you. It was perfect. We get to do it all again in another couple of weeks when we are guesting at the Robin Hood Festival at Sherwood. Yes, that Sherwood. The major oak is about 5 minutes away from where we camp, and Sherwood is one of my happy places, so I can't wait to go and play again. It's going to be brilliant. But because this video is called Grumpy Old Crone, I do feel duty bound to be just a little bit grumpy. It took me a few minutes of pondering and a large cup of tea to come up with something that I could complain about, but I finally found it on the community group for Fantasy Forest Festival. Now, you probably know that no matter how wonderful an event is and how much work has gone into it, there will be somebody who finds something to complain about. And in this case, I found it on the Fantasy Forest Community Facebook group. At an event attended by roughly 18,000 people over 2.5 days, I'm sure that you too will be shocked to discover that someone could not park directly outside the event gates. That approximately 10,000 other cars in attendance at the same event meant that maybe he had to walk just a little bit to get to the event gate. And what are the chances of him taking to Facebook to complain about the fact that he had to walk 10 minutes to get to the venue? Well, obviously, I think 100%. And what was the main crux of his complaint? It was the fact that the spot that he wished to park in, which was directly in front of the main gate, had been allocated to, let's wait for it, people with disability parking badges. Oh boy, was he salty about that. Why did all of these blue badge holders, I should say, blue badges are what we in the UK call priority parking permits for those with disabilities who need close parking to things. But why do all of those blue badge holders get to park so close when he wanted to? He didn't see nearly enough disabled people to merit all of those vehicles in his parking spot. I mean, you're not. Pardon me. You're not. That's what he said. He said he didn't count enough disabled people to merit all of the blue badges. So, today's grumpy old whinge is not actually about witchcraft or paganism, but is about this. As a 100% physically fit person in your early 40s who plays sports and has a very unrestricted costume, yes, I snooped, and no, he didn't lock his Facebook account, you do not get to complain about whether someone is disabled enough to merit the blue badge that allows them to park closer than you do. Have a little basic human empathy for other humans living in bodies that work differently to yours, you selfish Egypt. And not every disability is visible because I am a ginormous geek. I know quite a few people from other different communities who were at this event, and because they're my friends, I know about their disabilities, and not everyone is in a wheelchair, you knob. Changes to mobility and ability to access the same stuff as everyone else comes in very different flavours. I was very angry about this. This person had no reason that they could not walk 10 minutes from their car to the venue gates, apart from, I don't want to. And that makes me very spicy. Yes, it was a bit warm. Yes, it was a 10-minute walk. But honestly, many things in day-to-day life are 10-minute walks away. My local shop that sells the nice donuts is 10-minute walk away. I don't expect them to deliver my donut if I crave one. I walk down there and buy one. So you complete and utter melt. I would like to say that you should spend the next 12 months developing some basic humanity and the ability to understand the fact that other people do not have it as easy as you do. They are running their lives on the hard setting, whereas you and I are running on storyline only. And apparently you still can't make it out of the gameplay tutorial. I can't stand selfish people who can't take a moment to imagine what life would be like if they weren't quite so well blessed. Life can change in the blink of an eye. In the blink of an eye, you can have a stroke, you can have a heart attack, you can get mown down by a bus, you can be flattened by a falling ball of frozen piss from an aircraft. It can change in the blink of an eye. Pray that yours doesn't. And if it does, pray that other people are more understanding than you have been bothered to be. So there we go. Last month I accidentally, if you remember, I think I mentioned it on here, but I accidentally booked a weekend away in the wrong month and it could not be refunded, which means we have to take it. So Mr. Grumpy Old Crone and I are away again this weekend, like the dirty stop-outs that we truly are this summer. We aren't quite sure whether we're going to have a weekend of being tourists or we're going to have a 48-hour nap punctuated by food breaks. We shall see. Anyway, I'm off now. So as we approach Lammas, I wish you full cupboards, fresh bread and a temperature that is just perfect for whatever you want to do.